As I've already covered in a previous video, the link's in the description, the dire effects of the 1987 Black Tuesday share market crash would reverberate across New Zealand for a good decade. Unlike other share markets and economies that bounce back in a couple of years, New Zealand's recovery and market reforms were a painful process. Drove tens of thousands of Kiwis out of equities and into real estate. The reason why New Zealand's share market crashed so severely was largely because Kiwis and brokers had lost track of company fundamentals, the ones backing their investment or advice. The old adage, the higher they climb, the higher they fall, applied with spades. 3 months after the 20th October, the New Zealand market cap was just 40% of what it was on that Tuesday. Also simmering in the background was the overall dire economic situation for the bloke and blokesses in the street. In 1987, inflation was running at close to 20% and mortgage rates were around 17.5% for first home buyers. Anyone with a credit card was paying interest rates at about 25%. Not only was the share market overvalued at the time, so was the New Zealand dollar. The New Zealand dollar was a relatively new currency in global markets, having only been floated in 1985. Trades were relatively small compared to larger currencies/economies, and mostly took place in the time gap before these larger markets opened. The NZD had been climbing inexorably upwards for 18 months. Check out that graph. The currency bubble was getting bigger and bigger. In the preceding months to Tuesday the 20th, it had gone up a whopping 17%. Banana Republic stuff. The fundamentals backing the New Zealand dollar made it seriously overvalued, due for a harsh correction. One person who could see this was Krieger, a 32-year-old American forex trader with Bankers Trust. Foreign exchange is the largest market in the world, with roughly the equivalent of $7 trillion traded every day. Krieger had a well-earned reputation as an aggressive trader with an uncanny knack of making his masters money, serious money. Such was their confidence in Krieger's abilities to pick a winner, or loser in this case. Bankers Trust gave him access to calls up to $250 million. 25 million was then seen as a massive trade. It was Krieger's belief the NZD would crash, and he began shorting the New Zealand dollar massively. Going short means you believe the price of something is going to fall. He was right. And when the New Zealand dollar did begin to fall come Black Tuesday, Krieger just didn't double down on his initial position. He quadrupled down. In 3 days, the New Zealand dollar went from 65 cents versus the US dollar down to 59 cents. For those of you not good at maths, like me, that was a 13% drop. Due to the size of these trades, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand was all but powerless to stop the slide. And those trades were almost the equivalent of the entire amount of New Zealand dollars floating around at the time. The dollar had begun to collapse. The situation escalated up to the Minister of Finance. He decided to phone Krieger's bosses and tell them. That's apparently what happened according to Krieger, and the language was indeed that colourful. Douglas contradicts this. Either way, Douglas was fired by the Prime Minister, David Lange, in December of '88. I'm not entirely sure what the Reserve Bank or the Minister of Finance thought they would achieve by calling the bigwigs at Bankers Trust. Their trader had just netted them a cool 300 million US buckaroos. And oh yeah, I should mention also John Key became a trader at Bankers Trust as well. That was some sort of record for a trade at the time, and Krieger's commission was 3 mil, which he considered to be a derisory amount. He was so pissed off, he up and left the company and went to a rival trader. And Krieger is still in the same game today. The more observant of you may have noticed from the graph the inexorable decline of the New Zealand dollar for the 4 preceding years. Worse for the country was an economy that stagnated for another 5. So I hope you got something out of this. Not that we humans seem to learn historical lessons that well. Thanks for your time today, and I'll see you again shortly. Bye for now.